Hey Dragons, I'm Father Dragon Cal, and I'm here today to talk to you about the Trickster, the newest killer in DBD, who, let's just say, hasn't gone off as a smash hit. I want to break down what I consider to be 5 core issues with the killer, and 5, or more actually, possible fixes to make him a more viable killer in DBD. Or, in other words, take him from a Trashter and turn him into a Trickster. Let's check it out. Alright, so let's get into it. The first issue that I have with Trickster is his move speed. And no, it's not the fact that he's 110. In fact, we've come to realize that a 110 killer who uses projectiles is kind of standard at this point, whether it be Huntress or Deathslinger, and now with Trickster, the only exception being Pyramid Head, whose projectile goes along the ground. It doesn't really go through the air, so to speak, so not really comparable. And a lot of people will push, well, one of the easiest solutions to Trickster would be to make him a 115 killer. I don't think that's the right answer. I think a 110 killer needs to have power that compensates for that lack of speed. And the problem with Trickster is he doesn't have that. So what do I mean when I say faster move speed? I mean when he's actually using his projectiles. To down or injure a survivor, you have to hit them with 8 knives. He throws kind of wild. It can be a little difficult to land those hits right away. And the game slows you down as you start winding up your throws. That needs to be taken care of. That's probably fix number 1. He's already moving at 110 or reduced move speed. They already have the projectiles going wide at the start, and then as you throw, getting more and more of a close recall pattern. But even at max speed, the knives still kind of jiggle around. If you're watching, you'll see them move from where you're aiming at. So having him reduce his move speed on top of a reduced move speed creates a really nasty situation where survivors who are being chased by the Trickster can very easily turn a corner, hide behind something, drop a pallet, etc. They have too many options to escape before he can get those 8 hits in. And that leads us into issue number 2, which is his add-ons. Frankly, most of them are fairly useless. Talking about that move speed, he actually does have 2 add-ons, Killing Part Cords and Cage Heart Shoes, that increase his movement speed while throwing blades. That's it though. There's no green or purple, and an ultra rare version of it that might remove that reduced movement speed. So I would argue that they need to make these items stronger and increase their rarity, so that therefore you can have a green or maybe a purple one that completely removes the move speed decrease if they don't want to make that part of his base kit, which I still think they should. Other add-ons have issues as well, specifically his Death Throws compilation. Why does it have a negative penalty? It's an ultra rare, 7,000 blood points, and if you miss, it does nothing. You need to take that second part away. Just leave it as is with the 2 bonuses and no negatives. Next one, Iridescent Photo Card. Same exact issue. If I'm a survivor and I'm going against a killer running an ultra rare, I should be scared. That's our ultra rare. That's the strongest add-on they have. If I'm going against an infinite tier 3 Myers, I have a reason to be scared. If I'm going against a Huntress using iridescent hatchets, I have a reason to be scared. If the Trickster has Iridescent Photo Card, I'm actually not scared because now I know he can't down me with his ranged attack anymore. He has to hit me with his basic attack, which means he's a 110 killer who has to basic attack to down. In fact, why even heal at all? Think about that. If he can't down you with his ranged attacks, you might as well just stay injured, and then this Iridescent Photo Card, this ultra rare add-on, actually does nothing to injured survivors. Food for thought. The only ones that I really think are decent is the Edge of Revival album, shattering on a hit, so if you do miss them, you do happen to have a chance of maybe getting some laceration out of it. And then the Trick Blades, which again, in small corridors, allows you to hit multiple times and maybe hit the wall and still catch the survivor. That's pretty much it. The only other add-on that I think is worth anything is the Fizz-Spin Soda, which just increases the initial throw rate because the initial throw rate is pretty slow, and if you can get your wind-up going a little faster, maybe you can down them a little quicker. That's it for the add-ons. Alright, let's talk about a big one here. His special ability, Main Event. Now, Main Event sounds cool. You move faster, you have unlimited blades, your screen goes kind of a weird yellow aura, but in reality, his special ability mostly hurts you. Why is that? Well, first of all, you have to activate the ability, and you can't do it while you're currently throwing blades, meaning you have to stop throwing blades, activate the ability, holster your knives, and then start throwing again. That's precious time that you have behind a survivor who's going to take that opportunity to turn a corner, throw down a pallet, get out of line of sight somehow or another. So that makes main event kind of harsh to use. On top of that, you have an issue where after you finish using main event, you have that cooldown, and that cooldown stun is really quite strong. I put it right in the area of Legion. You have someone who is chasing you and suddenly runs out of their main event, they get stunned and you get away. I don't see why I would want to activate main event. It has a good chance of helping the survivor get away. A way to fix this would be to make it so that we can seamlessly transition from throwing blades into main event. Push down your activate button and you continue throwing. There should be no pause in using your main event with throwing your blades. On top of that, the cooldown should be reduced, if not completely removed. There should be no reason why I used my special ability and then get punished for using it. It's my special ability. Lastly, the fact that you can build up to main event and then have it be taken away, meaning basically you start charging it up, you happen to down the survivor or injure them, they get away, and then your main event fades. That should be kept permanent. I've earned it. I've worked hard to land enough blades to activate that special ability, and then it just dissipates. Feels weird. One more possible suggestion would be to increase his speed during main event. So not only does he not go from 110 drop down, but he actually goes up to 115 for that duration of the main event. That thing that I've worked so hard to unlock and use. Now I'm a 115 killer throwing projectiles. So that would make main event actually really solid. All right, probably the fourth issue that I have with, well, Trickster, but specifically any sort of projectile user on Dead by Daylight is the fact that we're on dedicated servers, meaning what I see, the system doesn't always see. Well, what does that mean? It means that a lot of times I will see my blades hit the survivors, hit them, and do nothing. From my perspective, there's probably nothing more frustrating than to see a knife go right through a survivor's image and then not do anything. So that can be really frustrating. Now that happens with Deathslinger, it definitely happens with Plague, and now we're run into Trickster, who has the exact same issues with all those. How do you fix that though? Well, there's a couple options they have. Number one, they can increase the hitbox registry for the knives, meaning it's a little bit more generous when it gives you hits, especially because you see the knife go through the survivor, doesn't do anything. So by increasing the hitboxes, there's less likely of a chance for that to happen. The second thing, if they don't want to change the hitboxes, is to just reduce the overall laceration meter. I mean, right now it takes 8 hits to injure or down a survivor. Maybe make it 6. Just leave it as that. All right, let's talk about the fifth and final, certainly last but not least, issue with Trickster, which is the laceration meter itself. Now think about it. You're a survivor, you've just been hit by 7 blades, 7 knives pierced your body. And what do you have to do to solve that problem? Nothing. Nothing at all. You just have to wait. So you can very easily go work on a gen, heal your teammates, save them off a hook, go search a chest, break a totem, whatever you want. And those knives are basically magically disappearing off of your body. From a killer's perspective again, if I've chased you and I've got 7 hits, or 6 hits, or 5 hits, or really any hits at all, and you don't have to take any action, that greatly reduces my power. Now, let's look at some other killers that have powers that don't necessarily directly stop you from taking action, which is the Doctor, or Pig, or Legion. I know, not your most favorite killer, but you can't argue with the fact that if you have to mend, that prevents you from working on gens. If you have to remove a bear trap, you can't really work on gens if the bomb's active without risking possibly death. And finally, Doctor, if you're in Madness Tier 3, you have to sit there and snap out of it. These are all methods that those killers have to slow down gen progression. Currently, Trickster has none. What am I proposing? Simple. Something similar to mend. I know, not our most favorite thing to do, but it is effective. However, with the Trickster's laceration meter, you should have to stop and remove those knives before you can take any action, like working on a generator. Now, what I will say this might make it a little bit more balanced is, If you have a teammate remove the knives for you, it removes them twice as fast. So that's a big change right there that behavior could make. So there you have it. You've got 5 issues with the Trickster that could easily be fixed by making some small tweaks, quality of life changes to make him a much stronger killer, much more viable in Dead by Daylight. If you liked what you saw, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment below with your thoughts on it, or if you have any suggestions that you think can make Trickster a better killer. My name is Father Dragon Cal. Hope you enjoyed this and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.